Yesterday I told you that we are in the time of this market where if you put $20,000 correctly right now, you will be making $1 million in upcoming 6 to 12 months if you pick the right coin and if you would actually have the conviction to hold. Today I will present 4 picks like this that help me achieve numbers in my portfolio, such as $1 million in Boba, $1 million in Andy on Blast, $1 million on longs on Pepe and on Bread, $500,000 in Solana memecoins in the recent pump of Solana to $190, $250,000 on loan leverages of CAG as well. We will go through this strategy and I will go through a list of meme coins that are following this strategy that I believe should be appreciating in value quite soon. Right now is the time to accumulate and hold. Without further ado, let's start. Coming back to our Bitcoin chart, we see the same thing happening. We are at around long 10x leverage for the Bitcoin line. I do believe we should hold it. I do believe we should be staying at these levels. The scenario that I might be seeing is us essentially revisiting this level right here and then coming back and eventually moving higher from there. Although certain bottom formations definitely did not achieve this type of levels as well in the past. So what might be happening is us essentially consolidating somewhere through here. So not essentially filling this week, but rather filling this week, because a lot of people out there are waiting for the bottom currently, and a range of assets, especially meme coins, the most reactive assets to the market, they are getting bought up quickly already. One more time, I want to clearly communicate this to you. This is the time where you buy into the assets, and if you understand that this is the good asset, it will have liquidity inflows. You didn't bought into some like short-term thing just to lose your money. If it's a good asset with further future liquidity inflows, you just buy and you hold. You can buy, you can be in 20% deep, 30% deep, 40% deep, 50% deep. You just buy more if you have conviction into the asset. This is how I was accumulating Bobo in the bear market. I was always trying to buy the breakouts. So I did not have the ideal entry point, but just accumulation over time into the asset you have conviction in is the key. And I will be showing you on this video at least 4 of these assets following the same type of strategy that I used with Boba to make millions. You have to understand the strategy. I think it's actually one of the best and one of the safest strategies out there. But first, in order to understand the strategy, we have to respond to the question, am I a beta male? This is a very, very important question, because essentially the strategy heavily depends on the resolution to this question, right? Because I found myself that I'm mostly making money on beta plays. I'm often too late to alpha plays, right? To the meme coins that are creating certain meta, right? I did not make, like, I was at $400,000 on my Pepe loan and profits, but I made more money on Boba, right? So it's essentially a bit different, right? And following my strategy, I'm seeing that mostly I'm actually making money on the beta plays. But by the way, like this video if you think that I'm a beta male, right? And dislike it if you think that I'm not a beta male. It's a very, very important thing to see for myself. And to be honest, I quite like positioning myself in beta coins of some alpha plays out there, because I understand the format, I understand the logic, I understand psychology very, very well there, and I feel a bit more protected when I'm positioning myself in these type of coins. At the same time, they definitely have this ceiling positioned and created by their alpha play. Usually these beta coins, they cannot achieve the market cap of the larger alpha play, and probably because of it, people are actually tend to take profits at certain levels, because they have this mind frame that, wow, a beta coin cannot become alpha coin, and that's why they would have their ceilings, right? First of them, I would like to share Sigma. Sigma is pretty much surging up right now from the lows. I was checking it out yesterday, didn't buy unfortunately. Well, at the same time, it's quite expensive if you would think about that to acquire 1% of this token. 1% of this token is 60k. Well, it's quite nice, it's not that expensive, right? But we can also see that this thing is definitely bundled, right? You can see that the percentages, they're too close to each other. And obviously for people who've been in the marketplace for quite some time, you understand that Sigma is a better play to Gigacoin. Gigacoin currently is around $150 million market cap, and Sigma is $6 million market cap. The main thing when trying to figure out what is the beta play, what is the alpha play, is charts. And for us to be able to figure out if Sigma is actually a beta play to Giga, we need to understand when actually Sigma was pumping. We see that this happened at 27th of July. What was happening at 27th of July? Giga pretty much created this local top, right? Created this local top right here and started to correct heavily. And this is exactly the time where people tend to rotate. This is this great period of time where people tend to rotate from alpha plays to beta plays. Red flag, unfortunately, that you might actually see on this chart is that on 15th of August, where Giga actually printed a new all-time high, what happened to Sigma? It reacted, right? However, it did not print a new all-time high. This is not a very healthy situation you want to see from the coins like this, right? But still, we can assume that following this high, Sigma is essentially following the chart of Giga, right? And I do think that it's a quite nice entry point for this coin moving further. We are forming this triangle pattern and we should be breaking out. A lot of people are waiting for lower. A lot of people are thinking that we should be seeing a larger correction. And what's interesting is that a range of charts of meme coins, they look the same currently. They look like this. They are at the edge of the breakout from these giant triangle patterns at this stage. And the size of the move should be quite large for these tokens. Will this thing break down? I don't think so. I would pray for this thing to come back down so I can finally scoop up some supply. I don't want to buy currently, but that in a month or two, this will definitely be 100% a mistake. The question is, if you would be putting $20,000 into this thing currently at $6 million market cap, would you be able to make 500k on the course of 3 to 6 months? Well, in order to do that, you would pretty much need a 25x. If we multiply 6 by 25, we will get a market cap of $150 million. I would say that this should be like quite a crazy type of setup market-wise. For Sigma to be the $150 million market cap, right? We should probably be at around 90k BTC, Solana more than 250k, and Giga doing quite well. Giga should be in billions, like in 1 billion probably, right? So these are the odds. However, I do think that entry point currently in this type of beta play is quite nice. In comparison to Giga, your upside is way better at this stage because we're kind of at the bottom. Yes, we are not at the bottom of the support line, right? But it's still quite nice. And people are buying this out. 40% move on 24 hours. So you might, if you want to allocate something into this coin, you might want to get into something. Currently, probably leave larger bag for later. But again, too many people are expecting lower prices at this stage. And your risk if you would be entering right here, and we will go to the bottom of the support line, is essentially 40%, right? So it's not that bad if you're accumulating, if you understand, if you're accumulating a better play, a better meme coin play. It's a very important thing. Next thing I would like to highlight is TBULL. TBULL is actually kind of your better play to bull, token shared by Crash quite recently. And we can see this $10 million market cap thing, and then the dump to $2 million, even the dump to 700k, right? The main reason for this was speculation in the market that this would be the token that Crash would call. However, he pretty much just created his own token, sniped the supply, and called a different thing. But TBULL is living rent-free in Crash head, and in head I do assume a range of people in the bull team as well. And it's kind of like this protest from the market against this type of like bundled launch. But I do believe that, yeah, unfortunately this thing is probably also getting farmed. It was pushed recently, and it's very, very interesting because it was pushed on the Justin Sun, who is the founder of Tron, making a tweet post with the icon of Tron, right? So, and what's interesting is that Bull itself did not move much. This thing moved. And this thing moved 3x from the lows, which is very, very nice. It was supported by some influencers like Eric Cryptoman, right? And interesting thing there is probably some influencers, they just bought up the supply here, but it's still, I think it's a very, very nice trade. I would explain why just in a moment, right? And they just decided to pump here. I bought recently somewhere here. I think I was trying to acquire close to 1% of the supply. No, I think I did not acquire 1% of the supply, probably acquired like 0.3, 0.4 something, right? What is the idea that I have? Because we have to understand future liquidity inflows. The main thing, understand future liquidity inflows. If there will be future liquidity inflows into the stock, into the ecosystem, you can accumulate, you can buy, and this is the highest ROI. This is what I've done with Boba. Highest ROI in this market. If you understand that there would be future liquidity inflows and you just accumulate and hold the meme token, you will outperform each and every trader out there, right? So the main thing is, will there be future liquidity inflows in TBULL? As mentioned, I do think it's essentially a better play to Bull currently. Bull will probably get pushed by the cabal, right? They will spend some money. They will spend some money on influencing, on the exchanges and things like that. And Justin Sun and Tron ecosystem itself, they will continue to use this icon, this piece of a meme coin, right? So we can definitely understand that if Tron is not dying tomorrow, liquidity inflows will come back to this thing. And what's interesting is that TBULL pump the largest with the use of Sandok, of potential Sandok listing on Binance Perpetuals, which is a meme coin on Tron as well, the largest one at this stage. And people just assume that if Nero pumped close to 10x on the same news, that Sandok should be pumping as well. Unfortunately, I have to explain something to these people. Nero pumped because it was manipulated in a way. They just took some money that they farmed and they just pumped it back into the chart. And because they took so much, because they essentially got this thing back to $25 million market cap, they were able to pump it back so nicely as well, because they have a bunch of funding and the ratio of liquidity and market cap is a bit screwed. So when people are putting some money into this thing, it definitely grows a lot in the market cap. So this is the better play I do actually like, and I do see certain future in this better play as well. We will see if holders would eventually decide to just dump on this thing and just let this whole thing to go down, and we will come back into this accumulation area. However, I do think that we should probably stay at this level. It's quite strong liquidity level if you would think about that. Let's actually check out one hour time frame. Let me remove all these beautiful drawings from the chart. Yeah, so this does not look very, very nice. It looks like a very, very manipulative chart at this stage. So we do definitely have a lot of like a nice liquidity level right here. Next support, you might think of this level. So I would say that anything in this range is actually good buy if you think that thesis is there and if you think that TBULL will serve as a better play to Bull. Because even currently when Crash is sharing something on Bull, he is sharing Tron Bull, TBULL. So yeah, it's definitely works in this way. And some influencers that were not invited into Bull cabal, they will probably push TBULL as essentially this like fuck you to the main cabal. And maybe some people are tired that there are different cabals pushing things, but unfortunately this thing is also bundled, as we can see from the percentages out there. Yeah, it's a very, very high chance it's essentially bundled. And there are tools to say that 100%, and just don't want to spend some time on it, right? Next thing is Andy on Blast. Yesterday I said that we are highly likely at the bottoms and we are seeing certain movements from the current levels right here. Why Andy on Blast is a nice pick? It's a very, very stupid logic, like very, very stupid. Understand this. We have Pepe, Andy on Blast is the character from Pepe Boys Club. Pepe surging up, assets around Pepe surging up, FOMO, people are buying into this thing. It's also yellow character on yellow chain. It's kind of the narrative of Brad. So Brad surging up should also attract some people in wanting to FOMO back into this thing as well. And last but not least, I think this is a very, very important and valid argument. People are saying on this marketplace that top meme coins on the chains, they should acquire at least 5% of the chain valuation at the peaks of the market, right? Blast valuation overall is around $10 billion currently in terms of all the things that are in the ecosystem, right? The capitalization of this thing, if you want to say. 5% of that is $200 million. Andy, as the largest meme on chain, is at $5 million currently. This is the only thing that it's 40x from valid valuation of the chain of $10 billion of capitalization of the chain, right? On Base, for example, Base is like $4 billion and Bread is like 700 million. I think it's even more. I think the ratio is even different. I think Bread is probably from 20 to 30% of Base. Andy on Blast is less than 5%. It's 40x lower than 5%. And Pac-Man himself was saying that after prediction markets, after the implementation of the prediction markets, they should be focusing on culture coins, on meme coins. I do think that, again, this is the time where you accumulate the assets and you hold the assets. You're not trying to like sell to buy back lower or to get into some short-term things. No, you just accumulate and you just wait. This is the goal, to actually be doing that. This is something I just wanted to share. Last but not least is Oni. So we have this craziness around Nero, right? We pretty much just had it a couple of days ago, mainly yesterday. What's important for us is to understand what was the reaction from Oni. Reaction from Oni was a 3x. Well, it's definitely lower than the reaction that we got on Nero itself, because Nero did close to 10x's. Why I'm talking about Oni is essentially the owner of Doge, the woman. She also has, I think, 3 cats and 1 dog. Jinan is one of the cats and Oni is another cat as well. So Jinan saw some movement from essentially Nero pump. However, I do think that Oni even outperformed Jinan in comparison, because from the lows it did a 3x. I don't believe that Jinan actually did a 3x. And it's also on Ethereum, right? So it's like more native type of beta play. The only issue with this type of tokens that you might have is that the founders of this thing, they might want to farm you, right? They might not see this long-term picture, such as founder of Bobo, for example. They might want to farm you, to take advantage of you, to sell some stuff. Although when I do check the holders, it seems like they are proper holders from the markets. Certain issues are connected with this thing as well, which might signalize that these people might be selling too early, right? But eventually, through the chart and through everything that's happening on the chart, we should be in the situation where people that want to hold, it's not that people who want to hold, because it's a very, very important thing to you communicate on this video as well. Right now, what is happening in this market is that people and who are okay with 2 to 3x, they are giving the tokens away. With people, they are giving the tokens away to people that are not all right with 2 to 3x, to people that are looking for higher returns, outsized returns, that are looking for 10, 20, 30x. This is what is happening on the marketplace currently in a range of tokens out there currently. It's very, very important to understand. People who are fine with 2 to 3x, they are flipping, they are trading, they are into this next thing, and people who want to do 10x's, 20x's, 30x's, 40x's, they accumulate, they hold shit, and they will be making the 20, 30, and 40x's. Whilst others will flip themselves to unaliving, right? I do believe that this is the situation that might be happening with some of them, unfortunately, when at the end of this bull run, they will check what some tokens did that they flipped, right? It might be the case. So this is the strategy. These are the 4 tokens that I wanted to share. Why I do like beta plays? The main thing about them is often you are getting quite nice entry points. Like you essentially position yourself for a nice 10, 20, 30 x's, right? Because will Giga do 30x from here? Most likely not. Will Sigma do 30x from here? Might be happening. It's just $180 million market cap. It's growing as I am recording this video. Very, very interesting situation. It just pumped. Wow, it just pumped to 6.6 million, and some people sold back into this triangle. You know who sold? People that sold, they are the people who are fine with 2x from the bottom. Not even the 2x, right? If they even bought this week, these are people who are fine with 3x. And people that are buying currently and will be holding, these are people that are not fine with 2 to 3x. They will be holding this thing for 20x's, 30x's, 40x's, and not this thing, but a range of tokens out there as well. So when you're buying into better place, you're limiting your downside, right? It's a greater risk reward. And you might think that you're essentially taking more risk, but well, you have to think about opportunity costs as well. And when you enter in something like this, you will highly you just have a higher chance to make outsized returns than if you are buying like something like Giga from the marketplace right away. So this is essentially a strategy that I'm focusing on currently. I'm trying to look for these better plays on the marketplace for different tokens, different communities, different things, because thought process, like, it's a very, very interesting game. Thought process and chains of thoughts that you might build there is a very, very interesting thing. It's kind of like building theses, right? And building something that has a high chance of happening, but people do not understand it yet, because maybe you spend some more time on research, maybe you know some more information about certain people, about certain communities, right? And just that your thesis have a higher chance to actually be playing out, right? And you just buy, you just hold, and you just capitalize on yourself having conviction, acquiring 1% of these different better plays on the marketplace, and essentially just waiting. This is the only strategy that can yield outsized returns with lower capital in crypto market. I made on my $1 million from $20,000 in Boba. I just had to wait 10 months, right? That's the deal. Like, if you would know with certainty that this is something that would be happening, anyone would take this deal. Anyone. You just have to wait. You have to see the future. You have to see the vision. Some of these better plays might be dying out over time in the marketplace. That's essentially up to you to decide whether or not you would want to cut some things. At least confident I'm in is Oni. But maybe this is where the highest upside is, right? Because Oni is at 600k market cap in comparison to Sigma, which is at $6 million market cap. So as usual in crypto, for safety, you are paying with your upside. If you're taking more risks, you can be receiving more money, but at the same time, it can unfortunately go to zero. This is the end of the overview. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.